Good morning, everyone. This is Ramajan with What is Social Media Today, teaching you how to win the game of social media. Today we have a special guest, Nancy Coffelt, who has written a number of books. She's an artist beyond that.
This is the Ramajan Kogan with What is Social Media Today.
My phone decided to talk to me in the midst of this. Nancy has written a number of kids' books, and I think she's actually written some novels as well. And the interesting thing about Nancy, which has her standing out from the rest of the field, is that Nancy has sold books. And my understanding is she sold quite a few books. And we're excited about that because we are budding authors. Many of us have a number of books out. And we're always looking for some tricks, some ideas on how to sell them, how it happens. So with that said, Nancy, tell us who you are and some of your experiences.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for having me. It's nice to see everybody here. Some of them like to see faces, not everybody's. So yes, I'm Nancy Coffelt. I'm a native Portlander. That's my hometown, Portland, Oregon. And I began my career as a fine artist. I really thought that's what I was going to do in order to avoid a real job, because I've been successfully unemployed since 1984. And I found then, as I was doing my art, it was described as whimsical. And then I found that my titles kept getting longer and longer. And I was writing, didn't even know I was writing, even though I'd always been a bookworm, always loved books, always wrote for fun, but nothing big. When I found out I was going to become a mom, I thought, well, I'll just write and illustrate books for kids. So yeah, if I would have known really how hard it was going to be, I don't know if I would have said that so lightly. But what I did is I went to the library, I went to Powell's Books, the big bookstore in Portland, and I read every single picture book I could find to see how they worked. And 1989, I got my first contract with Harcourt. It used to be called Harcourt Brace Jovanovich. It's actually, they were the first publisher I sent my work to. It ended up on top of the slush pile, and somebody was bored and opened it up. So I know I will never get struck by lightning, and I'll never get attacked by a shark, because my 1 in a million thing happened already to me. I did 5 books with Harcourt. My editor left. I was, quote, orphaned, and it took me 6 more years to get another picture book published, but I ended up to publish with Henry Holt, Macmillan, Little Brown, Simon & Schuster. I didn't get even though I first got published, my first book came out in 1992, I didn't get an agent until 2007. I really didn't need one, and sometimes I don't really know if I need one now. It looks like that sun. I'm going to close the curtain.
There you go.
Okay. So anyway, so my background is picture books. Then I went on to write middle grade fiction and nonfiction for a really fun series called the Uncle John Bathroom Readers for Kids. Love that. I have one YA novel published in 2009. I don't write YA anymore. Don't really read much YA. It's sometimes a little too dark for me. I do read enough to keep up on the market, because I do teach writing. I teach through the Institute for Children's Literature. I teach the beginning course. I teach the book course, so I do need to be up on what's out there. I love middle grade because it's fun. So traditionally published is my background. In 2015, I was approached, I got a Facebook message from somebody that I had a business acquaintance with, and she said, hey, can we meet for coffee? I have this great idea for you. Now, as an author, when people say they have a great idea, usually it's not a great idea. It's usually something they want you to do. And I say, well, yeah, you can do that yourself. But anyway, it was funny because I had done some work for her and it had been a paying job. Plus, the time she wanted to meet for coffee was in Portland. She did not know that I had moved 300 miles east of Portland. But the day she wanted to meet was a day that I was going to have a 2-hour layover at the airport in Portland on my way to an author festival. So it kind of felt meant to be, like, wow, okay, if you want to come out to the airport, I'll have coffee. And then she approached me with an idea. She told me about the 2017 solar eclipse. I couldn't believe I didn't know about that. I had done so much science writing, and I like to think of myself as somebody who likes to know things. So I was flabbergasted that I wasn't aware. And she said, I want to publish a book that you write and illustrate. Knowing the numbers, the realistic numbers of how self-published books sell, I was a little leery because I wanted to get paid. So I foolishly, looking back, went into a flat fee deal on that book. And I charged a high rate for an educational rate. So I got paid pretty decently because I didn't think it would sell very well, because I wasn't prepared to do a lot of marketing. That wasn't a very smart idea. I ended up doing a activity book along with it that I did get a royalty on, which made up for it. So here it was in this deal with this lady. I talked her into paying a professional editor to go through my work, because you cannot really effectively self-edit. It's really hard to do. I also she paid for a book designer, which I insisted on, and one that was good, big in the field, and also an art director. So there was money spent. I do believe that Orbit Oregon, who was Elaine Kyler there, put out a fairly big sum of money, probably about $50,000 to produce that book. It was expensive, and it was published by an American publishing company, all published in the USA. So that's what makes it a little bit different. I did not pay to do anything. I was paid. So what made this book different? Well, it didn't have a major publisher with a major distributor. It's difficult to get your books distributed. And then when we had the first 5,000 books delivered, it's like, well, what do we do with these? Especially since late 2016, no one seemed to have known about that this eclipse was going to happen. That we happened to be the only picture book available in the United States about this eclipse was not a help. You'd think it would be a help. We're the only one. This is why. If you look on Amazon, down below it says people who buy this book buy these books. Those are comparative titles. We didn't have any comparative titles. So that made it hard for us to say, well, it's like this book, because we couldn't say that. So what we did, first of all, and Elaine was the maven on the social media. She's big on Twitter, Instagram. She produced a Facebook page right away. And that's how we started. We couldn't do it all on our own. I had to use 20 plus years of my contacts in schools and librarians and organizations that I taught through to get them to put that on their social media. I needed bigger fish to spread the word. So I went through every STEAM organization that I knew or had an acquaintance with, STEM organizations, and then we went out there. The reason we could go out there is because with this book, we had a mission. And I do believe that even if you're going to pitch your book traditionally to an agent or to an editor, you need some sort of statement, like, why should this book exist? What is its place in the marketplace? How does it add to the world, basically? And that's really important, because it's a question that I know that I've been excited about a project, and then when I had to ask myself that question, sometimes I didn't continue on that project because there really wasn't a reason. I was just amusing myself. So our mission statement was to provide science literacy and promote eye safety around the 2017 solar eclipse. We got to build around a pretty significant event, and that helped us as far as convincing other organizations, children's hospitals, Lions Club, state and national parks, planetariums, to promote us on their social media, because it promoted their mission as well. And also my Facebook friends were pretty good about traveling around the United States. We were in, I think we got in 38 states, carried the book in the activity book, which we were very proud of. And so when friends on Facebook would say they were at Yellowstone National Park, and then would post a picture of themselves with a book, holding the book, which ended up garnering some more sales. I did a lot of traveling. I was able to procure a grant, and so that organization also promoted us through their mostly email contacts. I'm not sure how much social media they did. I was Tom's of Maine, Wild Horse Casino, and Libraries of Eastern Oregon sent me on a tour around all the little tiny libraries in Eastern Oregon. And so I have a 1993 Isuzu Trooper that I've had since it's had 400 miles on it. Her name is Good Girl. She only broke down once. It was good. She broke down on my favorite rest stop, and so I was able to coast into the McDonald's, grab a Diet Dr. Pepper, and I was within my extended towing, which is awesome. Thank you, AAA. But those people, when I go to these towns, the people who I talk to would also promote it on their social media as well. So it was more like a ripple effect for this project. It wasn't just me pounding the pavement with my social media. It was me spreading out and allowing that to organically grow. And yeah, that's what I've got. I hope I didn't forget anything.
Nancy, that was actually a really good presentation. I'm going to stop the recording because I find that smaller recordings are better than longer ones.
Okay.